Endorses.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the northeast part of Texas, southeast part of Texas, northwest part of Louisiana, northwest part of Louisiana, northwest, where should I say, southwest part of Louisiana. What's wrong with my mind this morning? Anyway, folks, good morning to every nook and cranny with the ability to receive those signals from our 100,000 watt transmitter. Good morning to the world who, through the magic of the internet, formerly known as ARPANET, that gets our information to every part of the world. Folks, it's amazing what your tax dollars can do. It's amazing what we can do when we work together as a collective. It's amazing what we can do when we don't allow those that want to profit from us to separate us, to fight against each other so that things don't work the way they should. But we won't allow that. But right now it's time to hear the statement from Jack, because Jack, doing that great work in the studio, will let us know what's up. ¿Qué pasó, Jack?
Good morning, Egberto. Sorry, listeners, if we sound like we're in a barrel, which it does kind of sound like that right now. We'll get that straightened out. As Howard would say, welcome, British Columbia, Whistler. Backwards, okay. All right. My word for the day is mainstream media speaketh with corporate tongue as they permit Trump to continue to lie to the citizens without fact-checking him in real time. How can you tell if Trump is lying? His lips are moving.
That is perfect. Is that it, my brother? Is that it? How can you tell Trump is lying? His lips are moving?
Yeah, that's it.
I I love, let me tell you something. It is so funny because what gets me is for those who continue to worship the guy, they're smart. They ought to know he's lying. What within their psyche, however, would have them put the nuclear codes, put the health of the nation into someone whose words you simply cannot believe at any time whatsoever. Jack, it behooves me that we've reached this part because of prejudice and other reasons in our country. Why we'll try to overlook those things and make the probably the likely the most incompetent person that has ever attempted to be president become president again. It just behooves me.
Puzzles me too.
Yeah, so but anyhow, let's go ahead and get busy with the program. I don't know, but here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The title of the show today is O'Donnell calls out the news media. Arizona Republican mayor endorses Kamala Harris. We have to remember that Jeff Duncan, the former lieutenant governor of Georgia, also endorsed the Kamala Harris campaign. And we have Republicans coming out of the weeds now endorsing the campaign. They are putting, in fact, country over party, reality over fiction, love over hate. And to those leaders from the Republican Party who are doing that, I can only say you are doing the American thing. You are making sure that we are not run by a charlatan. You're making sure that after all, We don't die as a country. And I don't say that lightly. Many of the people who support Donald Trump, and I don't say this to be disrespectful or is relatively insular, they don't see or they either don't see or don't care how we're perceived around the rest of the world. And the rest of the world are are scared point scared with reason that we could devolve into Trump presidency again, and with all the damage that it would do to the world. Again, when you're the leader of the world, what you do matter. I don't know. Some people say, well, who gave you the authority to be leader of the world? Well, our strength made us the leader. The amount of stuff that we have the power to do around the world makes us the leader. How did we get there? Well, that's a different story, but we are the leader of the world, and people do look up to us. And the thing about it is, a Trump presidency, the first time, folks look at as, well, America made a mistake. Every country is due one. Every country is due a mulligan. If we were to do it again, it would show something systemic in America, and that would be the demise of our leadership. Because at that point, countries of the world start looking for alternatives. And I'm not saying alternative countries, but what we would be looking at are alternative alliances. There would be no BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and about 13 other countries that are trying now to establish a new economic, not economic system, but a new financial management system. If America remained strong, if there was no, if the decline that we've seen in America based not on, people like to blame Trump alone. It's not just Trump. The decline started from the contract on America. I don't know if you guys remember that document from the former House leader. Can't remember his name right now, but it started with the contract on America. When we started to have policy, there's a time that you had Republican policies and Democratic policies, and they weren't the same, but they were based on at least a philosophy that made mathematical sense. Wanting small government is a thing. I don't like the idea of just saying we want small government, low taxes, because what it meant is you had a less involved government, and in having a less involved government, there are certain social services, certain things for social well-being that wouldn't be there. It is expected that you lift yourself up on your own. If you can't make it, either charity takes care of helping you out or you die. That's the theory behind small government, rugged individualism. Then there is, of course, what we have, which is right sized government, a strong government, a government that can be strong, that must be stronger than the largest corporation, the largest conglomerate of corporations. And why is that? Because the government is the will of the people. The corporation is the will of the individuals that govern, that own that corporation. And they have diametrically opposed interests. A corporation's interests within a capitalist society is best stated is is best stated. Thank you for that, Jack. Project for a New American Society. It's the corporation's sole responsibility is not to the shareholder, or rather, it's not to the employee, it's not to the country, it's not to the people. It is solely to the shareholders and the executives. And as the god of new capitalism stated, Milton Friedman, they have no responsibility to employees. They have no responsibility to climate change. They have no responsibility to environment. Their sole responsibility is to make a buck for the shareholder. And, Milton Friedman says the other things are the purview of somebody else, meaning the government. Under that scenario, then, it is incumbent that the government be strong and the government have strong regulations to prevent that entity whose sole purpose, whose sole responsibility is to themselves to protect us all. That's the purpose of government. And that requires right sized government. You want to know what it looks like when government doesn't do its job? Love Canal, the polluted Ohio River, pollution throughout beaches that you can't swim in, food that you can't eat, polluted groundwater because oil wells are not regulated and they're dumping oil from one strata into the water table. And as long as you don't have strong government to prevent these things from occurring, then the old Republican mantra of small government makes sense. Then that makes sense. I am not for that. I'm for a very strong government, free enterprise, which means you want to have your pizza shop, have at it. You want to have a grocery store, have at it. You want to invent automobiles, go have at it. Do all these things on your own. That's perfect. But do it so that it harms no one. And how do we ensure it harms no one? Regulations by we, the people. It's not difficult. It's hard. It's not hard to see this. The problem is that we've had a concerted effort over the decades with the advent of think tanks like the Heritage Foundation, the same people who came up with Project 2025, to fool you into believing that government, the right size government, is bad for you, and that somehow the private sector can do it better. And to accept that, you have to forget math. You have to forget the thinking process. Let's give a classic example in healthcare. They want you to believe that, first of all, by the way, insurance companies don't give healthcare. I'm off on a tangent from what the show is about, but I started here and I really want to get this out because it's apropos. They want to make you believe that insurance companies, health insurance companies, are a good thing. And that somehow having a whole lot of health insurance companies are a good thing for you. It gives you choices. No, that's not true at all. It gives you choices. It gives you a choice to make, to choose what bad choice you want to make. I repeat, it gives you a choice to make what bad choice you have to make. As an example, whenever you have health insurance, there are and each health insurance company has a board of directors, presidents, lawyers, database management software, advertising costs, a whole lot of costs in having a private health insurance company. And if you have one, that cost is only one time. But if you have hundreds of health insurance companies to choose from, well, all those costs of having a president and executive committee, having advertising to fight each other to see who's going to win over the customer, costs money. And all that money that it costs to have those insurance companies go into the premium you pay for insurance. So that it costs more to have a lot of insurance companies as opposed to having one person that aggregates all of our money and then pays a bill, because ultimately that's all. uh, yes, yes, I will take those calls. I will take the phone calls. Now, here is the thing, folks. Here's the thing. The only option that works, again, this isn't for having a pizza shop. We want a variety of pizza shops. We want a variety of stores selling stuff. We want a variety of people inventing things. We want that. But there are certain services that make no sense. Health insurance is one of them. And we have been programmed into believing that private health insurance makes sense, as if they do a service. They provide no services. They filter services. People say, well, insurance companies do something special. Okay, what do they do again? They manage risk. What risk? Well, how much you pay for health care, whatever. Why do we need 1,000 insurance companies to measure risk when we have one risk, the health of the American population? And if we have one person that collects money from the entire population and then says those that are unlucky to get sick, that are unlucky and get sick, their bill is paid by this one entity, we forego all the incidental costs, paying for 100 different presidents of companies, paying for all these things are mitigated. But we have been taught to believe fallacies. We've been taught to forget math. But I'll go ahead and take a call and then we'll move on. Bart, come on in, my brother. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Egberto. You are on echo mode this morning.
I know we have to figure out what's going on. I mean, we had some issue with the prop with the system, so we'll try to get better at some time. How you doing, Bart?
I'm good. I'll keep it short and sweet in. Really happy about the Olympics. I don't know if everyone heard on the women's box, had a guy win the gold medal. A woman won silver, but a man won bronze. So we had two men win the women's boxing. So that was really cool. What do you think about that?
Well, I can't help it that you choose to be ill-informed. I can't look. I mean, the right has been putting that out on all its media. We have the documents that prove that what you're saying is not true, but I am not going to convince you otherwise. But I mean, it's pointless for me to tell you that, because you've chosen to believe what you've been told by the right wing. These are not trans at all. These are women. But continue.
No, Alberto, there's no media coverage at all. It was all covered up. It's all been kept very quiet. That's why I wanted to come on your show and announce it.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's amazing that you are sitting down here in Houston, right? You're in Houston. Your only evidence is what person A tells you or what person B tells you. That's your only evidence. You have not seen material. You have seen absolutely nothing. So all we have is the trust that we have in the sources of information where we're getting it. Your source, the source that you happen to believe, says that these are men who won in the women's race. I mean, in the women's boxing match. That's what your source tells you, and you believe in those sources. My source tells me that these were women. Okay. Now, my source, I would claim, is much more credible than your source, but you believe your source. We're not going to get anywhere at all, because again, there's nothing that I can tell you to have you disbelieve your source. You don't know that. You didn't test these people's blood. You didn't test anything. You're just dependent on your source. Am I correct?
Well, I guess I shouldn't believe what my lying eyes are telling me.
Well, no. Again, I don't know what your lying eyes are telling you, but I saw two women boxing. But your lying eyes, based on how you were influenced, may have told you something else. Again, people can fall for suggestions. We know that. So what can I say? There's no point. And I don't know what is your big and I'm curious, why is this such an issue with you? It's amazing because the right wing started to make trends an issue, and suddenly all the people that follow the right wing are in a trance. They're completely onto this subject now. Something that it has such little amount of, you know, that is so, I it just amazes me how you guys walk in lockstep. That's all.
Well, it's an issue because the left wing media covers it up. That's why it's an issue. That's the only
Ah,
reason.
okay. Well, no problem. Look, Bart, I appreciate your calling, my brother. You have a very good day, and try to think about something positive. Try to think about something that's going to move us forward. Have a wonderful day, my brother. All right. Look, it amuses me that so many people will, that is one thing the right has been good at, right? They get you to focus on something that gets you all upset, but it has no value as far as making your life better. It won't increase your pay, it won't increase your health care, it won't increase any of those things. But somehow it matters. They make sure that it matters to you. I think to some extent, a lot of folks on the right should feel like suckers because while they have you worrying about things like trans and LGBTQ and books in school and all that kind of stuff, they're ripping you off left and right. You know, they're making you less smart. They're taking away your intellect. I mean, it is very disconcerting. But hey, to each his own. But let's get back to the healthcare issue that I was talking about. And that is, there is no reason for private health insurance, right? Because they don't provide a service, they don't make you healthier. They all they do is apportion and control who you're going to see, what doctors you can see, what medicines you can use. I remember when Obamacare was coming into fruition, people was like, we don't want Obamacare. We want to have our choice of insurance companies. We want to have our choice. So instead of Obamacare becoming Medicare for all, a one-payer system, they decide to institute a whole bunch of insurance companies on this marketplace. And on this marketplace, you have the choice of insurance, either the bad or the worst. But of course, it's all cloaked in something that looks good. They make it look good. But ultimately speaking, what they were or what they are is the thing that you were so scared about the government about, you succumb to it by wanting to have private healthcare insurance. Not private healthcare insurance. It's amazing because they tell you what to do. They tell you what medicines you can take, what doctor you can see. But you made that choice. You made the choice to determine who was going to be your master. You made the choice to determine who you were going to be a slave to. Aetna? Nah. Blue Cross? Nah. I'll be a slave to Cigna. Okay. Donald, come on in.
Good morning, Umberto. We're all aboard your spaceship.
How you doing, brother?
Good. I was thinking about you this weekend. We borrowed a buddy's crane and we were setting a building and doing a bunch of work. And that's the problem. See, we've got one ticket that has used the system but never created anything. And the other guys, they've kind of created something, but at least they did it.
I love that. And you know what? You are so right. And but you know what? I don't know if you understand, my brother, how correct you are. I don't know if you get how correct you are. When you go to the bus stop every morning, or well, you probably don't go to the bus stop. You probably ride a Cadillac every day, or a BMW every day or whatever. But when you go and you see a bus stop or look at the freeways every morning and you see all those people on that freeway going to work, those are the people that are doing stuff in our economy. Those are the people that are making things. Those are the people that are inventing things. You know who are the people that are not doing much, Donald? The billionaires and the ultra millionaires that are sitting down in those top offices in Houston, in Dallas, in LA, in New York, those that are moving stocks around, etc. They produce and they can generally do nothing. Yet they're the most revered and make the most money in our economy. Think about that.
Exactly, Alberto. We don't hold the people up that are actually doing the work. We think of them as horrible.
Exactly. And I hope you notice that my program, that's who I uphold, the working class, the people that actually make things happen, the people that invent things, not those people that like Trump and others. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, now, Trump, you might not like him, but he did build something. It might not have been good, but he built it at least.
We'll have to talk about that another day, Donald, but that's all right. We'll talk about that another day. Uh, let's see. We'll go ahead and talk another. Hey, but I got to go to Rad, Donald. But as usual, you always have something insightful to say, my brother.
Yes, sir. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, let's go to Rad. Come on in, Rad. Rad, you're on. Okay, I don't hear Rad, so let's wait till that gets fixed, and while that is getting fixed, we're having a little bit of technical problems today, folks. So what we'll do is we'll keep on keeping on. You know, the show must go on, and we must continue to talk. But anyway, so again, if anybody wants to go ahead and give me a call about insurance, if they disagree that the purpose of health insurance, I mean, that there's no purpose for private health insurance. In fact, it's socialism for the corporation. Give me a call, 281, or I'm sorry, 713-526-5738. In the interim, I have a piece to play for you from the governor, or rather mayor of Mesa, Arizona. There are a lot of never Trumpers out there. There are a lot of people who said they'll never vote for Donald Trump. There are a lot of people who've either left the Republican Party or they've stayed quiet but not said much. So what we're really
Transgender thing and the boxing. Remember growing up, there was a girl that played with us guys. She was a redhead, and she was a tomboy. And I remember one morning, I saw my friends running across the street, like, holler for help. And I guess it pissed off that redhead, and she was going after them. She was chasing a bunch of boys, because the boys were afraid of that girl. And when I was in the military, I played on a base volleyball team, and went into a military intramural volleyball tournament with the Marines, the Air Force, the Army. And the Navy was left out because their team was in San Diego, and the fleet went out of maneuvers. But the only team that had a woman on it was the Marines. And she was tough. I think she could beat up any one of us guys on the Air Force team. And we were lucky we played that tournament. We beat the Marines. And I told the guys, they better leave it before they beat us up. But anyway. Oh, we don't pay money out of our own money for the Medicare insurance companies. Yeah, we do. It comes out of our Social Security. And I just called my insurance company, but too bad I'm on the one Medicare group, asked the rep, and she wasn't even in America. She was in the Central America.
Right.
The reps are foreigners that were calling for help with our Medicare plan here in America. But anyway, money, not paying for my Medicare. And she was confused because her English wasn't that great. But finally, I got her to understand what I wanted. And she told me I'm paying $174.20 out of my Social Security for that insurance company. So when public comes saying, I'm not paying anything, I'm getting all these great things for free. No, you're not. You're paying for it. Great intro, and good to hear you even if we're in the bottom of a well, it sounds like.
I know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, glad you were talking about the little point some of the Republicans were trying to make about something Tim Walz said. Instead of talking about what they can do or might do, I'm talking about Trump and Walz, of course, it's, all about finding some little nitpicky thing and blowing it up out of proportion, whether it's a valid complaint or not, regarding Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. But actually, I want to talk about something else just briefly, if I could change the subject.
Please do.
Okay, I'm the president of the Houston Peace and Justice Center, and HPJC is having a free networking social brunch this Saturday for representatives of local nonprofits. And we want to invite, one or two representatives from any nonprofit in the area that would like to come and, besides having a free brunch, have a few minutes to tell everybody there about what they're doing, what their organization's about, upcoming activities, things like that. And you can also have some table space for displays or pass-out literature. It's going to be in the Montrose area starting at 10 a.m. this Saturday, and I'm not going to give you the exact place yet because we want people to RSVP so we can get a head count. So you can RSVP or ask questions by emailing director@hpjc.org. That's for the Houston Peace and Justice Center. Director@hpjc.org.
Folks,
Well, just want to say No, thanks for continuing to have the discussions every weekday about topics that you'll never hear about on other stations. You won't hear these kinds of discussions anyway.
I know.
Thanks, and like I say, KPC is a valuable service too, so I hope everybody will donate during this fund drive.
Thank you very much.
And that's it. Thank you.
You're getting a lot of.
I know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, everybody thinks that the station runs off of power and electricity, but the real power is through the donation.
Right.
Anybody that's listening to me, you can donate, keep the station up and running. You know, it probably takes money to fix this echo. Well, somebody needs to give Lena Hidalgo a Snickers bar or something. You know, I mean, she was just like really cranky and like you know, one of those, you know.
Can I?
Okay, well, everybody volunteers for the work. I'll call you back.
Thank Good morning.
And I read up on fact checking, and this was actually put in candidacy before they even got the notice requirement in March.
Okay.
He's up in November and January to leave the army.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not glamorize or glorify war or war records.
I think